there. So what's on my mind this week is to do with acquisitions, and it is a new feature that came in with 2305 about receiving multiple order lines at once. So you'll get this when you upgrade to 2311 this year. This is something that I can remember coming up being raised with people for some considerable years, but it's now come through into core code, and I'm just going to run through the process of this. So many features with receiving multiple order lines at once are similar to what you'll be used to with receiving a single order line. So I'm going to go into the acquisitions module, and I'm going to find my vendor, which is Dawson's. So I found my vendor. Receiving shipments as usual in exactly the same way at the moment. So I'm going to receive my shipment for my new vendor and put in my invoice number. So this is going to be a test invoice, Dawson's 999. And I'm just going to click through next into the area where, as you will be familiar, you have a list of pending orders that you can receive for your particular vendor. Now, in previous versions, you'll be used to only being able to receive one order line at a time. But this new feature gives us the opportunity to select multiple orders by using the tick box here. I'm going to click through into receiving 3 separate order lines here, and we can see we're of varying quantities. So I've got 1 quantity here, 2 on this one, and 1 on this one. I don't need to use the single receipting option on the right hand side. What I can do is, once I've selected my order lines to receive, I can scroll to the bottom of this particular list, and I've got a new button, and it's called Receive Selected, and it will tell me the number of order lines that I'm receiving at this point. So I click through into Receive Selected, and it lists the 3 entries that I am about to receive. I can see my 3 different titles, and in the quantity area here, we can see how many I'm receiving out of those amounts. So at the moment, it's saying receiving 0 out of 1, receiving 0 out of 2, receiving 0 out of 1. For each of those line entries. I still have to actually confirm with the system what I'm receiving. I need to use the edit option to determine elements about the item records that are going to become part of my system. So I use the edit option here, and I'm presented with the same screen that you'll be familiar with, where I can use the receive option here to receive a material. As I tick that, it changes my quantity received to 1, as you can see. I can set my tax rate. I can make any adjustments that I need to with regard to actual cost. If it actually comes in at a different amount, for example, I can make those amendments here. I can also, of course, go in and use the edit option to edit the line item for my particular material. So that all remains the same. So I can make my receive option here for this single copy that I'm receiving here. And then what we're presented with is a new button here called Next Order. And I can move from my editing order screen to the next order that I am editing, and this moves me straight through into my second title, where I've now got 2 quantities, 2 items that I'm receiving. And this, of course, it gives me the opportunity to part receipt if I've only received 1 of those copies in the box from my vendor, for example. So in this instance, maybe I'm just ticking 1 item. I've only received 1 of these particular titles. And then I can move through using this next order option to the next order in the list. And here's my final title out of 3 that I'm ordering at this point. And again, I can receive it using the tick box here in the same way. And you'll notice that alongside next order, that's now grayed out because I haven't multi-received any further orders, but I've also got the opportunity to sort of go back using the previous order to verify and make sure that I've actually received the ones that I want to correctly. And when I'm happy with that, I can simply click on Save Changes. And now my receipt items screen gives me my order summary, tells me which orders I've received. And in the quantity field here, it gives me an indication of what I'm receiving. 1 out of 1, 1 out of 2 for my partial receipt, and receiving 1 out of 1 here. I simply at this point click on confirm. You'll see you'll get a little job progress bar there to indicate that the material's being processed. And then I'm back at my pending orders screen. And as I scroll down, I'm on the screen that you'll be familiar with, where I can see what's already received. I can see the quantities received, the funds, and so on. This is all exactly the same as you'll have been used to with receiving single items at a time. And I simply go through into finish receiving, and I can close my invoice once I'm happy. I've got my 3 items here with the quantities received here, and I can click on close and save my invoice. So we have the ability to order multiple items at one go from a vendor, and certainly if you're doing largish batch orders, using those tick boxes for multi receipts hopefully is going to be a bit of a time saver for you, and also not a huge change in the actual functionality, the actual working. It just gives us a new feature that we can utilize when we want to order more than one material rather more quickly than we've been used to doing by when you have to select individual receipt for every line. So hopefully you'll find that's quite a nice new feature. Thanks very much for listening.